Can't do it. Won't do it. Will not do it. One of the more trifling, disgusting, despicable, negligent things I have seen on Netflix in regarding the poop cruise. But I can tell you this, I'm thinking about going on a cruise in a month. And I might just have to have second thoughts about that now because I don't know about this. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. Thank you for joining me. If you're new, if you're coming back, welcome back. And today we are going to be reviewing the Netflix documentary Trainwreck Poop Cruise. There's a lot of train wrecks going on right now. The Trainwreck series is popping off. I think it's the new series Netflix is trying to really blow up out there after all their scripted series are coming to an end and they're trying to find the next big thing. Squid Game's ending. Stranger Things is ending. I don't know about the whole Wednesday season 2, if that's ending. I don't know how many seasons that they're going to be, but they're trying to find this next thing that's going to catch on. And the Trainwreck, they might have something with this because these are a lot of enticing stories. And the first one I'm seeing is this Trainwreck poop cruise. Now it's hot in here today, y'all, so that's why I'm, in the state that I'm in. If you watching, but yeah, y'all, this was nasty. Carnival Cruise Lines outdid themselves with this one. Look. There's a lot of I've heard a lot of things about Carnival Cruise Lines. I have actually auditioned to be a performer on Carnival Cruise Lines in the past, and I'm glad I did not get the job. I've heard horror stories. That was after the poop cruise too. So like, I didn't even know pretty much too much about cruises until I started auditioning for them in 2016. This happened in 2013. But yeah, Carnival is the bottom of the bottom cruise line. You got Carnival, you got Disney, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian, etc. And Carnival is low. So if you go on a Carnival, you pretty much just going to get ratchet. You're going to turn up, and you may or may not get back to your destination. You don't know what the ship's going to be like, but it's going to be a big party with kind of just shit all over the place. You know what I mean? So when they said Carnival, I already knew it was going to be something on top, but I was not surprised when they said Carnival and it was the poop cruise. Luckily, that's not the cruise that I'm planning on going on in August. I might have to, do a docu series on that. But I mean, that's the thing about cruises is things go haywire. You're stuck on a ship. There's no way to get out. You're screwed. There's no swimming. You get a lifeboat, but you don't know how long it's going to take to get back to shore. There's a lot of variables that are out of your control. That's the only thing about ships. But this one, I would have lost myself in the music. I would have had to find, I'll get into what I was doing, but I would have had to find some little corner crevice to really just isolate in and just, like I said, every man for himself on this one. But we'll get into it. Trainwreck Poop Cruise popped off on Netflix last week. I'm a little behind just because of all these things going on right now, y'all. I'm trying to catch up and be consistent with y'all. I'm trying to get back to what I once was on the YouTube recaps. I'm trying, y'all. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. But yeah, February 14, 2013, the Carnival Triumph did not triumph. The cruise ship caught on fire. First thing was the lights went out. And this cruise is going from, I believe, Galveston to where was it going? Galveston to Cozumel. 4-day trip. 2 days there, stay there for a day, 1 day back. Nice little short cruise. Luckily, it wasn't a longer trip across like the Atlantic or Pacific or something like that, or else there would have been some big issues. And strangely enough, I did not really. I remember hearing about this, but very vaguely. I was in college at the time, so my focus was not on the news; it was on college. So I was not. This was not on my radar, but I did hear about it. But yes, they're on the ship. They go down there, spend a day in Cozumel, and it focuses on these group of people, like these 4 girls who just want to party and get drunk and that stuff. A guy with his father-in-law and his fiance, soon-to-be wife, and focuses on a couple of the crew members and the cruise director. So we get a lot of different points of view for this documentary, which I do enjoy. I would have been upset if we didn't get both parties when it came to the crew and the passengers. That's very keen on what we got. There's only one commentary person that I did not find keen on this, and we'll get to that person later. But yes, first thing, they go to there, Mexico, things are fun. They come back, and on the way back, lights go out. Dark. So now I know I'm taking a flashlight with me on this ship just in case it goes down. Then people start panicking. A ship, it soon gets on fire. Jesus, Lord, there's a fire. God, we didn't start the fire. And then all of a sudden, it goes down. And that's the prelude to it. But we meet the guy, Devin, who was on the ship with his girlfriend and father-in-law. And we meet Larry and Rebecca. And at the time, Rebecca is a little girl. She's like 12 years old, I believe. But it's showing them current day when she's like mid-20s or something, like mid-20s, late 20s. And, and we meet Kaylin, Ashley, and Jamie, the three friends that are just there to have a good time and get drunk every single day and just care about drinking. They was kind of fun, they were just there to get lit. They didn't really wasn't there for all like the extra stuff, but yeah, they were typical type of people I think that I'd see on a cruise ship, right there. So they skipped the safety meeting, which I don't blame them. Look, it's like when you're on an airline and they say, "Hey, this is what we're doing, just in case something goes down." Nobody's really paying attention. I pay attention to that nowadays. I kind of, I'm not like super attentive, but I make sure that I'm paying attention just in case something goes down. I know what button to press and things go down. I don't know, like I'm freaking out. I remember what they said, so I do pay attention to that for the most part. Most flights, I do. And then we meet Jen, the cruise director. Now, I like the cruise director. She seems like somebody who will be really good on all these cruises. She seems like someone who doesn't get stressed out easily because she's seen it all. And she gave me good vibes the whole time. Jen, she held it down. She's the real MVP. Even though people, want to complain about, what they decide to do, but there's not really much other option. And so there are two worlds on this ship, the passengers and the crew. Now, it's kind of like working at any place, There's fires and chaos behind the wall and shroud of illusion that is perfection. There's a couple businesses like that. A couple gyms I used to work at, just like this. It looks all nice and perfect and dandy, and everyone's, smiling, have a great time. But behind closed doors with the crew and the staff is chaos. And they even said the staff was partying too on this ship. They said the staff was getting lit at the same time. I don't blame them, coach, especially on Carnival Cruise Lines. Look, we can't be all work and no play. And that's one thing I like about my work. In any work, I think you should have a little balance between play and party. I think if it's all work, and you working a lot, what's life then at that point? What's life? You gotta have a little fun at work. Now, work isn't there to be fun or to make you happy. Work is not there to satisfy your personal needs. But if you can do that on your own and make it a positive environment and not take it too serious, then it'll be a lot easier to get through and make life a lot less stressful. Just a key tip for today. And then we meet Brooke Baldwin. So Brooke, she's a CNN woman who just cares about the story. We need the story. We need the story. We don't care about these people. We just need the story. We just want things to pop. That's what I don't like about the news. They just look for the hot takes. They just look to grab people's attention and not really care about the people. They just want something to present. And Brooke Baldwin actually, she does the Bachelor. She does something with the Bachelor. I think the reunions or something like that. And my homie Clayton, if you haven't seen his interview on here, check it out. He knows Brooke Baldwin. I'm not a big fan of her like personality because it just doesn't scream like authentic. It just seems like I'm just trying to get something for me and just make a story and just make headlines and seem like I'm right about everything. Just the way kind of she presents herself. I'm not a big. I don't know why they kind of focus on her so much. Just because like yeah, she was on the news anchor team, but like she didn't do nothing. We wasted a lot of time with her point of view because it was like oh we got to get the story out. We got to get the story out. We don't care about all that, Brooke. Like we don't care. I personally don't care. And their commentary was just dismissive of kind of like what the people was feeling. And yeah, they wanted to get the story out, but she made it a little bit too much about, herself and CNN and just like these people were just, lobsters getting cooked on the pan, Like, I didn't like that part. She just minimized kind of what the whole thing was going on with the panic and whatnot with the people. But we get a little background of the ship, 70 plus hour work weeks, lots of sex, lots of partying, lots of getting lit, lots of everything as I expected on a cruise ship. I'm interested to see because I'm planning on going this cruise ship by myself with my friend, of course. He's working though. And so it'll be a lot of time to kind of just see what's popping. Hopefully I can keep myself entertained all alone, but That's what time we gonna be on. So I'll give you guys a recap on what goes down. And the boat, like I said, went to Galveston to Cozumel, 4-day trip. And soon at 5 a.m. on the way back at the last day, there's a loudspeaker yelling, Alpha Team alerts, Alpha Team alerts. Now, 5 a.m. things yelling. I wouldn't be tripping either. You hear alarms go off in my house. I'm just kind of like, all right, it's going to turn off. But this is on a cruise ship. And then soon, people started seeing smoke coming out the drains. And at that point, I'd have been like, okay, it's time to get on deck and find the lifeboats and jackets. And I'm not going out like Jack. That's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not going out like Jack. That's the first thing that's coming to my mind. And, soon a fire starts in the engine room. Is hectic, is chaos. And the fire goes out. The director soon tells everyone, everything's fine, under control. Every time they say something like that, everything's fine, under control, that's when the panic starts seeping in. They say that all the time on planes, when you're about to leave, if there's a problem, everything's fine, we're going to be there soon. You're going to be sitting there for another 2 hours if they say everything's fine and relax and all these things, because they know it's a ride, but they got to keep you, the passenger, the customer, relaxed. And that's the most relaxing thing to do. If they say, oh, the flight should be here any minute, when you're waiting on a delayed flight, now it's going to be more minutes. So just a key tip if you didn't know that already. But yeah, soon the lights go out, the AC goes out, everything goes out, and the cellular goes out too. And when I cellular goes out, then it's real. That might be another good reason to invest in this portable modem to give me internet service. I'm about to go start live streaming in the streets IRL. It's about to be time to launch this portable modem, y'all. I mean, I might need to take this with me on the ship, because the last thing I need is something like that to happen and I can't call nobody. But I ain't giving nobody else a password either, because they're going to crowd my network. But yeah, y'all, portable modems are, now a thing, and I might have to take that with me on the ship. And soon the toilets go out too. So look. They have and then what they do is, people start peeing in the shower, all these things. I don't see the problem with peeing over the side of the ship. They should have been doing that the whole time. I don't know why you would pee in a shower if the drainage doesn't work. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, some people are just so stupid where it's like, oh, well, it's not my problem, so I'm just going to do it. When it comes to throwing out the trash in the street, oh, I'm just going to throw it out. When it comes to anything that somebody else could take care of, but they're not going to take the authority to take care of themselves. And I can't stand that. Things that need to be cleaned, things that are broken, things that need to be fixed. They're just like, oh, somebody else is going to take care of the problem. I hate that. And that's what these people did. And it's a lot, it's Carnival Cruise Line. So you're getting a certain type of customer on the typical customer. Let me not classify them all. Typical customer on Carnival. I'm not shocked, but pee off the deck. And for the women, I think they should have, men go on one side, women go on the other side. Put drapes around it, and then you're gonna get some, get some shit on the side of the side of the ship. But I mean, it's better than being inside the ship. What do you want, outside or inside? I'm just saying. I would have got a bucket. Give me that. We'll fill the bucket up, dump it out. Now there's nowhere in the water, so you just got to figure out how to get it. But just pot the thing and keep it moving. I mean, you got plenty of alcohol to clean it out with, so that's the only solution I can see with that. But they weren't thinking. People were panicking, etc. But the last thing I would have done is pissing and shit in the shower and all these things. Disgusting. So yeah, and they gave them these red bags, which I don't know why the guys are freaking out about this red bag. It's just a bag. Grab the bag, put it in a bin, move on with your day. Would you rather have it in a bag or like stinking up your room or the toilet? It's like, I don't know why they made it such a big deal out of the bags. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing to do, but there could be worse. It could be no bags. So it was interesting. But yes, the red bags was a huge topic. And, soon the girls were rummaging around and wondering, why isn't the bar open? Why isn't the bar open? Girl, y'all worried about drinking alcohol and the ship is on fire and out of power, and y'all worried about alcohol? I wish they had some black people's point of view on this documentary. One thing they lacked is some melanin in this thing, because I know there was a lot of brothers and sisters on this ship. I know that for a fact. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Yeah, soon they take the beacon out the life jacket for a flashing strobe light so they can see a little to use the bathroom. And they didn't really get specific on how they use it. They just said, oh, it's flashing light, and we just started using the bathroom. But where? Where did y'all start using the bathroom at on this ship? And how is there some working bathrooms? Apparently, oh boy, Devin found a working bathroom. How is there some working bathrooms and a lot of not working bathrooms? They didn't explain that. They skipped over some details that I was very curious about. But anyways, so they call, the ship calls, the ports and whatnot, and the plan was to get a tugboat to pull the ship back to Progreso, Mexico. But it wouldn't happen until the next day. And so, people start getting super hot on the ship. People start pulling their beds to the shore. Obvious. I would do that too. And they go to bed and wake up. The boat still isn't there. And it's starting to get bad on the ship. The food becomes rotten. They got to throw a lot out. And all they got to eat is sandwiches. And the lady compares it to the Soviet Union on what it's normally like. Because the lady, I believe one of who was it? The workers, she was from Russia. And she's like, oh, like these Americans are starting to finally see what it's like in the Soviet Union. It's terrible. Well, damn. We are spoiled over here in America. And I'm not going to lie and say that we don't kind of complain about a lot of things and we aren't appreciative of the little things we have. But if it's like that over there, WNBA players, how y'all do it over there? Like, why y'all do it? I mean, the money, but the money worth it at that point? I don't know. I didn't know it was that bad in Soviet. But that sucks. But yeah, survival mode kicks in. Another ship soon comes in, and they give supplies over to the ship. Now, they skipped a lot of details on how are they able to keep food. And one of the details they did put was this other ship came, but they weren't able to transfer anyone over. Now, they could have transferred like some children or some people with families over to the ship. I think they could have done that. I don't know why, but then the only reason I can see why is because some people would be complaining and say, "Oh, I need to go, I need to go, I need to go," like Titanic when the one of the captains or one of the guys that wanted to get off, he got on the boat with the kids and the women. There would have been some things going on like that, and you can't risk nobody getting pushed overboard because people just acting a fool. So I understand why, but dang, like I know there was probably a family of 6 or 7 on there that really had some small children and they desperately needed to get off. They didn't really focus on the little ones at that, and I kind of was interesting to see that perspective as well. So I think they could have did that at the least. I mean, it's dangerous for sure, but use precaution. I know you guys have done this before, so I think that could have been a viable option. People would have understood that the families with the small children needs to go to the other boat to kind of like get themselves together, because that's a lot to put children through. I would hate to have kids on that ship. It would be oh my gosh, worst thing ever. But yes, the people on the ship started like waving at them like they were zoo animals, and I would have been pissed off. I would have been like flipping them off and everything. I'm like, y'all shut the fuck up. I'm stuck on this ship and I cannot get off. I have no food. I have no water. I have no showers. I have nothing. Oh, the showers. Oh, I bet it was funky. Woo. They didn't say that either on how bad people's pits was stinking and everything else. Terrible, y'all. But yes, soon CNN gets word because the people get cellular from the other ship for the short, brief period of time, and they're able to contact home, which is funny. And, they got their family, and soon CNN gets word, and they use it as a moment to capture the story. Capture the story. We got to get this story. This story going to be a big one ever. We gotta make this a story. Y'all, can we please get some humanity back on this planet, at least in this country, and turn into people again and not just curators of content for people's displeasure for our enjoyment? Please, like, this is crazy. Like, I do content myself, and yes, I get a lot of wild people saying some things, but they're willingly doing that. I'm not getting no one in misery. If somebody says something that they don't want on camera and they'll tell me that, I'm not going to put it on camera. I'm not going to try and purposefully make someone look completely foolish for my or anyone else's entertainment. I talk to people, they know they're on camera, they're getting interviewed. What they say can be used and held against them. But if someone says, I don't want my interview on there, please don't post it, I'm not going to do it unless it's already posted. If it's already posted, I'm sorry, but it's not like I'm intending to try and make someone look stupid. I don't ask people questions to make them look foolish. They do that themselves. So I don't like seeing it for all that, but that's the media, they're going to try and make the common folk look like a plain dummy. And so Carnival apparently had other ships in the past that had issues. Surprise, surprise. And since the boat had lost power, the ship moved up 100 miles from where they were at and instead had to get towed to excuse me, Alabama instead. And when it took another 2, 3 more days, I would have pissed me, boy. Something going down. I'm raiding the bar. I'm kicking something. I'm breaking something in that case. But the thing is, it's not their fault. It's just I wish, it's hard to be transparent with the customers on what's going down if it's bad. But at the same time, man, that's tough. That's like saying, oh, your car's fixed, and then you come pick it up like, oh, there's like 5 more issues with it, and you're just like, I thought you fixed my car. Sometimes it happens. I mean, one time I was making some video. I was shooting some content. I filmed the whole thing, and I get home and I realized I filmed in slow motion. Disaster. Sometimes it happens like that, and we just people got to be understanding. Like, the people are doing their best, especially if it's out of their control. I don't really typically go off on people unless I know that they're withholding information from me purposefully. But if they found an issue, say with my car after I brought it in, I'm not going to be mad and they're saying it's going to cost more. I'm going to be like, I appreciate you finding it, and just gonna move on from it. Appreciate them doing the deed instead of blowing up, because getting mad and blowing up at people ain't going to do anything. It's just going to make the situation worse. And so, Devin has been holding the bathroom this whole time. He's like, I finally got to use the bathroom. And he finds like a bathroom somehow. Don't know how. We missed that story. A working toilet at that. So they finally open the bar for free drinks, and everyone celebrates and, has a little bit of time to kind of lay off some steam. Drinking fuels the soul's happiness. So that day was probably good. But, the liquor also did make people go crazy. You got fights. You had sex going on. You had shit flying everywhere and pissing. The alcohol going to make you piss. And so it got crazy. It got crazy on their coach. Soon the tugboat arrived, and when the tugboat pulls the boat, everything starts. This part was funny. So everything starts going sideways, sitting sideways. Ooh, yeah, I would have been traumatized for life. There ain't no way in hell I would be back on a cruise ship. Probably in the rest of my life after this. It'd be a funny thing. I was with my friends and whatnot, but if I was there like on a date or by myself, just trying to enjoy myself, and I had this 1 week off out the whole year, I would have been like, work, I need a month off now. I need some more time, coach, because this ain't it. But yeah, shit starts getting everywhere, y'all. Like, literal. Shit starts getting everywhere. Disgusting. People stepping in it. You see the Middle Eastern cook dude standing right in it. Gross. Ugh. Disgusting. Atrocious. Disgusting, y'all. I can't even fathom. And yeah, the whole picture, the chef gained a lot of weight. We got to stay healthy, y'all. The little girl gained a lot of weight. The chef gained a lot of weight. It was kind of sad to see the before and after pictures of some of these folk. But stay healthy, y'all, and stay in the gym and stay outside running and keep your bones nice and strong. We trying over here. We a little small right now, but we're working on it. And soon, CNN was happy because it was the biggest story. It was the biggest news line of the whole year, and they're back on top. I'm like, that was a stupid thing to me. I'm like, just have we lost ourselves as a people? I think we've been lost ourselves. But Brooke Baldwin is just like glamoring and glazing this story, and I'm just like, all right, this is stupid. These people are, you guys see what type of time these people are on, and it's not quality time. So, and then soon people, finally the ship, they get tugged back to Alabama, and people, are praising the Lord. They finally get to the ground. They're in high spirits. So they walked off, and they thanked the crew. So it was bad. It was very bad, but they didn't, at the end, they're like, okay, like, it didn't seem as bad as it once was. I mean, no one's seriously injured or hurt or sick. Not that they showed us. Maybe to say Carnival, because they're like, we already have a PR nightmare. We don't need Netflix ruining it even more. So keep that real bad stuff out. I think they left a few things out this, but yeah, the people get out, and they get a little synopsis on the families and people, what they're doing now and how they are after. And at the end, this was interesting. Carnival, they said, oh, we can sue Carnival. This guy, Frank Spagnoletti, he tried to sue Carnival and whatnot, but they had in their clause, this ticket makes absolutely no guarantee for a safe passage, a seaworthy vessel, adequate and wholesome food, and sanitary and safe living conditions. Yeah, say what? Who? What? I'm reading all the contracts before I get on these boats. Y'all read the contracts, read the fine print. Because if it got some sketchy stuff in there, you need to check it off the list. And that is the sketchiest thing. It was probably in 6-point font at that. They played these people, and I don't like that. See, these companies, they'll offer you to give you the world, but if it's too good to be true and they're giving you a $200 cruise for 4 days, y'all read the fine print because it ain't always what it seems. Any contract, man, get a lawyer, read it yourself, do your due diligence, and read things people send you. Don't just glaze over it and be like, all right, it's good. That's crazy talk. But soon the Carnival Triumph was renamed to Sunrise, and they also changed their guidelines after that. But I don't trust them. They probably got some other guidelines in there that they hiding from people, saying if you get sick, we can't offer you any compensation. If this, that, and the third, if you miss this or that, then you're screwed over, basically. And that was basically the whole entire documentary, y'all. This was an interesting one. It wasn't super long, like 50-ish minutes. I would give this a 7.5. 8 out of 10, just because it was informative, it was entertaining, but I left a lot of details out, and I had some questions afterwards, and they didn't get a wide variety of point of views. I got some of the crew, we got some passengers, but no black folk on a Carnival cruise line. Not dropped the ball on that one, or else this show would have really popped off. And they released it around Squid Game came out, so it's kind of tough to kind of garner the audience as you really could have if you released it earlier in the year. But y'all, tell me what you think about the Poop Cruise Trainwreck. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or you didn't watch it and you don't really care to watch it? I was entertained. So we'll check out on the next one. I'm worried about the cruise line coming up that I'm about to take. It's Princess. So pray for me, y'all. If it happens, I'm still waiting on confirmation, but this got me nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. But anyways, y'all, thank you for joining me for this Trainwreck Poop Cruise recap. And until next time, y'all, I'm out here. Peace, blessings, deuces, and have a safe rest of your day. And if you want on a cruise sometime, make sure you read the guidelines, bring a flashlight, and bring your own toilet paper and a poop bag just in case.